This episode is brought to you by Dave, Jack, and Cynthia, this week's newest patrons. I want to tell you guys a story today about a boat manufacturer that we don't see a whole lot of in the US and why we don't see them all that much. A story of bankruptcy of some bad boats and huge financial losses, a US dealer left holding the bag, forced out of business, and answer the question, can you buy one of these boats secondhand to go cruising on? This week, everything you need to know, the story of Bavaria. Bavaria was kind of late to the game in the boat building world, and it wasn't founded until 1978 in Germany by a man named Winfried Hermann, a window manufacturer, windows for houses. Winfried was an avid sailor in his free time, and the window company he made was doing extremely well, making lots of cash. So Winfried had become an expert of manufacturing and wondered if he could take all that expertise and use it to make some boats. He wondered if he couldn't start a new company to make boats on sort of an industrial level, stamping out lots of boats instead of hand building one or two a month. And by doing it on an industrial scale, drive the price of each boat way down. Winfried launched Bavaria and brought two boats to a boat show to unveil them to the world. Both were raised coach-top boats with tons of room inside, and the company's slogan became "Better Living at Sea." So a big focus on comfort and livability, and you didn't just get a boat with a voluminous interior. Winfried was a smart businessman. He surveyed potential customers on what their needs were, and at the time, everyone in the area was finding it really hard to find a slip to keep the boat in. So Winfried partnered with some local marinas so he could offer you a slip if you purchased one of his boats. It's very clever. By 1979, a new 50,000 square foot yacht production facility was launched, and Alex Monholt was appointed as the in-house designer. Within a matter of months, 5 yachts a week were leaving the production line. They were stamping out more boats than all the traditional hand-building factories were. This is when Joseph Meltel joined the team. He was a yacht charter broker who, as you'd expect, had a lot of experience offering boats for people to rent and sail around the tropics as you do. He knew there was a huge market for easy-to-sail boats with voluminous interiors, as there kind of still is. And with his help, Bavaria Yachts took off. In the early days, the company was known for its high production quality and value to the end user because as they stamped out good boats, the price kept coming down, and Bavaria innovated at every turn. One such innovation they made was, instead of ordering crate engines from the engine makers, as all boat manufacturers did, they would have to assemble them when they got there, so they had a whole team of engine assemblers and mechanics. Instead, what they did was they called the manufacturer and asked them to fully assemble the engines, turnkey engines, with the transmission already bolted to them. Of course, shipping would be more expensive, but all they had to do when it got there was drop it in the boat. They wouldn't need all the technicians to put everything together. It was pretty smart. The production facility exploded to near 800,000 square feet, and they were pumping out some 2,000 boats a year by this point. In 2014, Bavaria made another bold move. They saw the future of cruising in catamarans, and they wanted to get in on the action, so they purchased the French cat builder Nautatech. And in 2015, the first Bavaria-owned catamaran came out, the Nautatech 46 Open. Yep, that's a Bavaria. And despite all this amazingness and growth and innovation for 35 years, things got very hard for Bavaria in 2018 when they were forced to file for bankruptcy. And this is where the brand starts to get a bad name. This is where they started to become known as, a lot of people have said this, not me, but a lot of people, the Hunter of Europe. Lady K Sailing is brought to you by patrons, people who give a couple of bucks an episode to make these videos possible. I want to give a big shout out to all the existing patrons. that have gotten us this far. If you'd like to help me make more videos, please consider becoming a patron. Now, not that I'm one to bash Hunter, because you guys know I think there are some great hunters out there. But here's a story from before Bavaria went bankrupt that kind of worries me a little bit and probably should worry any potential Bavaria buyers of boats made sort of from the 2000s onward. Bavaria was always a European brand made in Germany, and of course their cats were made in France, and we saw little of them in the US, but one company did try to become the US dealer for those boats and tap into the market over here, which is a huge market. The company was called Bavaria USA, and they had a deal with Bavaria proper to provide boats over on this side of the pond. And things went well for a while. They sold a lot of boats. One of the interesting parts of the deal was, however, that Bavaria USA, as the dealer, would be responsible for warranty repairs and any sort of customer service for any boats that they sold over in the US. And for doing that, they would get a 2% discount on the dealer price for all the new boats. And that 2% was intended to cover all those possible repairs. And this is all public knowledge. It's from the court filings in Georgia. You can go find this stuff if you want. But here's what it says. The USA exclusive dealer, Bavaria Yachts USA LLP, BUSA is its traded name, filed for bankruptcy on October 16th, 2016 in the Georgia Northern Bankruptcy Court, having been in litigation and disputes with Bavaria Yachts for several years. In summary, the USA dealer was allegedly provided a 2% discount intended to cover the cost of customer service and repairs of defects and warranty work to the USA customers, but that cost of repair of the manufacturer's defects was far greater than the manufacturer's discount, that 2%, leading to losses to the dealer, and the dealer had to file bankruptcy. Over the course of 5 years, BUSA says it invested more than $5 million to build a brand presence in the United States for Bavaria, build a national sales network, advertising, and open regional sales centers in Connecticut in 2012, California in 2013, Florida in 2014, plus all of its own administrative fees in Atlanta, where the headquarters was. And sales of the $500,000 yacht grew from 2 yachts in 2011 to 3 in 2012. They sold 9 boats in 2013, 10 in 2014, and 15 in 2015, according to these court filings. But as yacht sales continued to increase, design flaws began to surface with many of Bavaria's boats being sold in the United States, leading to BUSA having to make costly warranty repairs, according to them. The problems included significant leaks and near sinking on numerous occasions. This is what they're contending, this Atlanta-based company. The Atlanta company says it continued to pay out of pocket to repair defective boats. The number of owners demanding to return their boats, fed up with persistent and dangerous defects, grew completely out of control. BUSA says in its court filing, the financial effect of BUSA was devastating. BUSA begged Bavaria Yachts to provide technical and financial support, but Bavaria responded with further empty promises to fix the problems, and all the while BUSA was getting deeper and deeper into debt, fixing Bavaria's defective boats. BUSA goes on to charge that customer-ordered boats that were delivered to BUSA in the summer of 2016 had numerous defects, including major leaks that would have sunk the boat if they weren't immediately detected by the owner. BUSA contends Bavaria then took steps to force BUSA out of business, kind of shut them up, in order to form a new USA dealership network. BUSA said Bavaria began actively soliciting numerous other dealers in the US to take over BUSA's business, despite the existence of exclusive dealership agreements. BUSA is asking the court to declare that they're going to be the sole owners of the 10 boats that they have left that they weren't able to sell, and be awarded millions of dollars in damages from Bavaria. A news article after this bankruptcy read, Dr. Ralph Kudla of Bavaria, he works there, he said he looks ahead. We want to regain lost trust. We intend to keep Bavaria's promises and meet its delivery dates. Quality must also improve again, and we want to involve our dealers more closely in strategic and product development. A dealer's advisory board will be introduced to this end. And this way, we'll hear customer feedback, pick up on it, and turn it into product improvements as quickly as possible. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if a spokesperson for Bavaria says they want to improve again, it seems a little bit like an admission that perhaps the quality wasn't all that it should have been for a while there. And all this happened in the 2010s, but before that, Bavaria did have a good name for quality and customer service. To put some pictures to what we're talking about, here's a 2015 Bavaria Cruiser 41. This is likely the boat you'd be looking at if you're going to do some Caribbean island hopping, if Bavaria was your flavor. And on the surface, it looks good. It looks very good. The styling is basically just the same as every other production boat with nothing to really boast about, and I can't imagine anyone ever mistaking this thing as pretty. But we get an in-mast furling and we get a massive fold-down transom, which would make life a little bit nicer at anchor. Everything on the back of this boat just sort of screams to me Jeannot Sun Odyssey, with the twin helms and the cockpit finish and the layout. So it's nice, but it's not unique or prize-winning in any way. It's not making me specifically say, I want a Bavaria over everything else. Inside these boats is where things take a nosedive for me anyway. The wood finish to me always screams cheap dentist office furniture. It all looks like the lowest dollar laminate, and maybe it's just the color, but we've seen this on smaller Benettos like the 343, and I can't stand the 343. Even the upholstery in this Bavaria looks like I did it, and that says a lot. Up front in this boat, it's more of the same finish, but we do get a very spacious V-berth next to the forward head. And on this model, we get a split back cabin, making this the 3-cabin layout, very chartery. And I have no issues with the Volvo engine that they have in here, but it would have been nice to get a Yanmar. I myself have a Volvo 2030, a 3-cylinder, and genuinely, it's a great engine. But the parts are a bit more expensive and a bit harder to get when you're in Caribbean countries. So it would have been better to have a Yanmar, and if I'm going to drop $200,000 on a boat to sail the Caribbean, I'm going to lean in that direction a lot. This is a nice boat, and no glaringly obvious reason you wouldn't buy it. It's almost 20,000 pounds. It's a twin helm. It's got in-mast furling. The interior is massive and bright. I could definitely live in here. And many of these have already been throughout the Caribbean, so we wouldn't really be reinventing the wheel with this boat. But it does have a problem, a very big problem. The problem for that Bavaria is this. The Jeannot Sun Odyssey 409. It's the same type of Caribbean island hopper. It's a twin helm. You get in-mast furling, and the interior is about the same quality. But you can find the 409 a bit cheaper and more plentiful, and it was made by a company that wasn't filing for bankruptcy while they built it. You guys know I'm not usually negative about any brand. Heck, I even like Hunter some of the time. But I can't get past what the spokesperson for Bavaria said. Quality must improve again. Food for thought. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and what the next episode should be about next week. Until then, guys, keep the heavy side down, but not too far down. We'll see ya.